Daniel Elliott, Indian trader, soldier, businessman, land speculator, husband, and father. When Daniel Elliott first came to the Forks, there was no Pittsburgh, no Allegheny County, and no United States of America. This was all old-growth forest, wide, shallow rivers with no flood control dams, and plenty of Indians. But this is where Daniel Elliott would make his mark later in life. When I first heard that Daniel Elliott was probably the builder of the Old Stone Tavern, I was stunned that something so old had survived all these years. To think that we have a building that old still standing through all these changes and 7 generations later. Unbelievable. Fantastic. What else from that time is still here? Not much. Look down the Ohio at the Old Economy Village in Ambridge. When George Rapp brought the Harmonites back to Pennsylvania in 1824, the Old Stone Tavern was at least 40 years old. As well preserved and historic as the Old Economy Village is, it does not hold a candle to the historic significance of the Old Stone Tavern in the West End. I'm sure my great-great-great-great-grandfather would not recognize the city that stands at the Forks today. In his day, there was the fort, a few log cabins, a few stores, a church or two, and more Indians than white men. But more settlers were on their way, and he was figuring out how to profit from it. When the federal government wanted the Indians to give up their Pennsylvania lands, who did they call on for help getting the Indian chiefs to agree? Daniel Elliott and his father-in-law, Colonel Alexander Lowry. They spoke the languages of the tribes involved and had earned their trust by square dealings with them for over 30-plus years. Both men had Indian wives and many children with Indian blood. They had lived among the native tribes and knew their ways. Both men had served in the War for Independence and fought for freedom from British tyranny. They were also trusted by the American government to make a peace that would hold. The Treaty of Fort McIntosh, which was signed 27 miles down the Ohio from the point, is what pushed the Indians into the Northwest Territory, which we know today as Ohio. Yes, Daniel Elliott was not as famous as Daniel Boone, but he was a Pittsburgher. He served his country and his neighbors. He was a friend to the native people of the mountains, and he found a way to turn a good profit through hard work and perseverance. He went from being a boy carrying mail for the British Army to an Indian trader to a soldier in the Pennsylvania militia. Through land speculation, he circumvented laws about how much land you could own in order to stake a claim twice the size of his neighbors. He built a sawmill, a flour mill, salt works, ferry, and toll house. The Old Stone Tavern was that toll house. Let's save the one little piece that still stands. Let us remember our Daniel Boone, Pittsburgh's Daniel Boone, Daniel Elliott. Let's save Daniel Elliott's Old Stone Tavern.